As easy as stacking cups, 3 teams left. This is AfterBuzz TV's Amazing Race After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I think we're going to be dancing for a while.
Are we all gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? 1, 2, 3.
Oppa Gangnam Style.
Oh God, I'm so embarrassed.
We're having so much fun right now. 3 teams left. We're in South Korea today. And I'm Nataly Tavidian, everyone. You can find me everywhere at Nataly Tavidian. And we have a full house of guests. I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Let's go.
Logan Bauer of Team Lolo.
Team Lolo.
And where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Logan R. Bauer, B-A-U-E-R.
Finalist, everyone.
Finalist. I am Brooke Camhi. I am Scott's partner. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, all the stuff at TheRealBCamhi. C-A-M-H-I, since we're spelling it.
What's up, you guys? My name is Desola Balogun. You can follow me everywhere, really just on Instagram, at Desola_B. And look, I want you guys to make sure to get in those chats. Any questions that you have for them, make sure to type it down. And you can call into, we'll take a couple of calls today. Who else do we
Right
have?
across us on the couch, because we can't all fit here.
Who's that smoke show on the couch?
Well, first of all, this is Mina, and I'm Sara Fowler, and you can find me at Twitter at Sara Lynn Fowler.
Nice.
And I am of SNS Express.
You are. And I'm returning. I brought Girl SF, Guy SF is here, Scott Flanary. You can find me everywhere at Scott Flanary, spelled like canary.
Welcome,
we
everyone.
love having you back. You're one of the very few contestants in LA, so we appreciate all the insight you've been giving us. And thank you to all the other contestants who have been calling in. We have so much to talk about. So excited. We're in South Korea, and we start off this episode with stacking cups. Those kids were intense.
Those kids were.
They were amazing.
Incredible.
I mean, to walk in there and then you realize that you're trying to hit a number that's like almost 3 times what they're doing is kind of embarrassing. But
what was it? World record 2 seconds or something?
It was like under 2.5 seconds.
Under 2.5 seconds, and you guys had
7
seconds.
It would seem like an eternity
And that
when you
still
watch
sounds
them.
fast, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I just say at this point it was so tough to watch because we're so emotionally invested. It's the final 4, and it was just I felt like I didn't know which friends to root for.
How did you not know who to root for? Sorry, Logan, but let's be real.
Okay, another loss.
I mean, this episode was so interesting to me because the entire time I was watching, I kept thinking this is like a fun episode, kind of. Like there was no strenuous.
No
Like
activity.
physically strenuous thing, you know? Yeah, I mean, but it was still challenging. And it was interesting to see how like much Korea focuses on entertainment because everything was entertainment, you know? And I just kept thinking about the Anna Kendrick song when I was watching. What about you guys? You know, the cups?
Yes.
Yes.
Except it wasn't that easy, so.
Yeah.
What's it like going back and watching for all of you?
Well, you all want to take it? Because I was actually about to say, just real quick, based on Desola, what you just said. Like, this is the first time a leg wasn't extremely physical in our season of the race. Because there's been previous seasons where there's a lot more mental and, you have to be dexterous and you have to be a little bit more strategic. And the physicality is spread out. But as a lot of people have commented, our cast is very physical. And I think they cast the physical cast because literally 11 legs or 10 legs of just physical challenges. So I was happy that we had indoor tasks sitting down. I got to play Chun-Li, so that was amazing for me. We had the cup stacking.
You were happy. I was thrilled. This was the first leg, no stairs. We weren't running 6 miles. It wasn't 6,000 degrees. I mean, I am one of the least physical people in the cast, and so and finally we come in first, and it's fantastic.
Yay!
We're stacking cups, we're playing games. I think everything should be indoors, and we should have to solve Rubik's cubes for 12 legs. That would make me very happy.
That'd be pretty tough in some countries.
I love the 2 of you, by the way, Brooke and Scott running at the end. It was beautiful watching your faces.
Thank you.
Just like, is it us? Is it us? So congratulations.
Well, thank you. And it's rough because, Lolo was right behind us. As you saw, we ran out to the taxis at the last minute together. And there was a kerfluffle. They actually got the first taxi, but he didn't know where they were going.
Yeah.
And then Brooke and I got the second taxi, but he knew where it was. So
Okay.
we waited, and then they actually said, "Please go ahead."
Yeah.
So we took off, and then it
How
was.
noble of you guys.
I mean, you know.
Well, you work together.
know,
we
we-
actually
we were
said,
together,
"Do you want
you're
us to
our
wait?"
alliance.
And they
Absolutely.
said,
Yeah.
Absolutely. At that
And
point,
we would have minded the foot race at the last minute because you're our alliance, but it was just interesting that it came down to a taxi,
Yeah.
like it normally does
It
in
was
the
pretty
Amazing
close.
Race.
yeah, a few people learned lessons with taxis, I think, on that leg.
Oh yeah.
And subways
Yeah.
and not taking them.
Yes.
Right? Like that literally was the reason why they lost.
Oh yeah.
Well, the
Yes.
thing with
From
the
what
subway
we
was,
saw.
so
Yes.
we were on this flight, this long flight, and I remember London and Logan and us and the boys. All three of us were talking for most of the flight, and everyone was going to different people on the flight and saying, "Are you from Seoul? What's the deal? Do we take the subway? Do we take a cab?" And we had very mixed responses. It was really 50-50. And a lot of people were saying cab is faster, but it's more expensive, and the
Yeah.
subway will get you there for less money. And so when we landed, we were all bunched together, and we left in 5-minute increments. And so the boys left first, and they were told to take the subway, and our two teams
Wow.
looked at each other and said, "Taxi, definitely," because
Yeah.
Scott and I left second. And so it was really the best decision we could have made, but it was a total crapshoot. Different people said different things, and
Yeah.
we thought we had enough money in our pocket left over because we'd done a pretty good job of saving funds to say, if it's a little more expensive, it doesn't matter as long as it gets us there first, because we really need to win.
So taxi was the way to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got lucky. I was sitting next to this little kid. He was maybe like 13 years old, but spoke fluent English and Vietnamese. And he was actually going on a tour with a tour guide to Seoul from Vietnam.
Okay.
So
Had you been there before?
yeah, and the guy sitting in front of me was the tour guide.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so
Lucky
I
you.
could basically have him as my
Thanks,
translator,
universe.
talk to him, and he was like, "No, don't take the train. There's way too many variables, and
Yeah.
like you can get lost in between." And I mean, it worked out perfect though. I mean, that really was like the big thing that kind of struck them down that leg.
At Desola, you're gonna hate me, but I walked around Mom and Dad and the boys and was like, "We've heard the subway's faster."
Oh my God. And
Yeah,
I'm so
planting
surprised
seeds.
that you did that.
Planting seeds.
Right.
I mean, you did what you had.
Whether
That's
they
the nature of
listen
the
to me or
beast.
not.
Once you get down to 4 teams, it's hard to be
Sneaky
loyal.
surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he made a point that when it was a lot of teams, that he's going to do what he had to do,
Yeah.
and obviously it worked out,
Yeah.
so far. So I just got to say, you and London. Okay, we always talk about this.
I forget if we're on the show sometimes.
I mean, honestly, I said, I'm like, they laid.
You guys
low.
really are the underdogs.
Yeah, but
That's
you
why we're called
made it.
Team Lolo. I mean, that's a different, whole
Well,
other
I
meaning.
I get
I didn't know.
Staying on the low
I just
low.
got
Yeah.
that right. So, no, but I mean, we all, because
Took a
in the
minute.
beginning, I don't know if you know, in the beginning we were like, watch the teams that don't really say anything. We were talking about you guys
Yeah.
make it like to the end.
Yeah.
Because I swear you said like 10 words in the whole
Yeah,
show.
I know. People think I'm like a mute sometimes.
You know?
You read some of this stuff on Reddit. It's kind of
Like
funny.
I
but
didn't know until yesterday. Where are you from?
I'm from Georgia.
Yeah, I had no idea you had a southern accent until
Yeah.
yesterday. I was like, wait, what? I was like, where is he from? So, but it worked out really
Yeah.
well, and I'm really impressed at it. And when you guys did get in little, whenever you guys did speak a lot, I should
Yeah.
say, it was always London. You
Yeah.
know, but you did a really good job at that, and it
Yeah.
worked out really well.
Well, we were just kind of, under the radar. We said the whole time we were racing that we're going to be Switzerland. We're not going to fight with each other, and we're also not going to try and pick any, fights with teams because it doesn't do anyone any favors.
Yeah, we had the same
Right.
feeling about our team.
Yeah. Clearly, you guys were not there to break necks.
Very good.
Well, you two were. I told you before, and I've told you. My favorite when it comes to doing the challenges, because I love how you guys just go at it, but you can see that it's like not personal. You know what I mean? It's kind of like like when you have a brother or a sister and you guys just like go at it and you say like
Yes.
everything you want to say, but you don't take it personal at all because you know you're doing it for a reason. I loved it, and it's great, and it makes it so entertaining.
So entertaining.
I mean, and you are just the best. I mean, yesterday, look, when I was watching the show and you were doing the cup thing, I love how vocal you are about it. You know what I mean? Because everyone's gonna know how you're doing, right?
Yes.
But I mean, honestly, and it was to the point where I was at home and I was like this, and when you got it, I yelled with you because you kept yelling, and I was like, "Yeah, she finally got it." So it's good. I love it. I really do.
And speaking of the yelling, my favorite, I have this in my notes, one of my favorite moments, aside from the finish line, was you cheering and saying, "I've never cheered so hard in my life for a video game." We love seeing those moments where the teams are just motivating each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing about Scott and I'm funny now more so than when we were actually running the race, but it's kind of great because you'll see how we argue like maniacs. Like when we're going from one place to another, we will we'll go at each other. But when we get there, when we're doing a task, we do the task. Like once we were doing the mannequins and we basically both wanted to claw each other's eyes out, and then we got to the storefront, we dropped it and we let it go at the door of the store and we got the task done, because that's just sort of who we are.
think
And when
that's
the
a
leg
unique
is
talent.
over, when the leg is over, we hug it out. It's not personal.
Yeah.
We both just love this show so much. Like, I have watched it since day one when I was in college, and since episode 1 I said I have wanted to do this. Like, we are both rabid super fans, so it meant so much to us to just keep staying in it that it was heartbreaking every time that we were at the back of the pack, and it causes emotions to come out. But you know, we're not the same people that you see on TV. They edit you to be a certain character, and we're both very positive toward each other. We're very close since the race is over, and we have the ability to sort of like leave it at the door and hug it out when it's over. I think it's really nice. So it's
You guys
nice
hash
to
it out
have
as
so
it's
close.
happening.
Right.
Which, in my
Which
opinion,
is not completely unhealthy. I mean,
that's the best way to do it,
Yeah.
because I spoke on some other teams throughout the season. I feel like that was their demise, especially I think Mike and
Yes.
Liz.
I think that was their biggest issue, because Mike could never let anything go. So while the things were happening, he would like stop and just complain all the time. And I'm thinking, like, you're still in the race, like you need to just get over it, you know what I mean? And it didn't really work out for them.
Right.
I think that was one of the reasons, in my opinion. But yes, I think what you guys do is
and Mike's
great.
not really a complainer either. I
No.
mean, it's just not. It's just how it comes across when this is how it looks when it's done
it's
and
also-
edited.
Well,
the
Well, you're in
circumstances.
pain, you're
The
hot, you're
circumstances.
sweating, you're
Yeah.
carrying heavy things. I actually thought of you this morning because I was at the Rose Bowl working out, and I caught myself complaining about it.
Oh, you pulled a Brooke at the gym?
No, but then I was like, okay, no, Nat, stop. It's a beautiful day. Just enjoy this. Do what the instructor tells you, and then you're gonna feel great at the end. But it's in those moments where they're catching you, and you're saying, "This is heavy. This is hot." This
But
is
I bet you didn't even realize you were
painful."
doing it.
Exactly.
Right? And then,
Yeah.
and unless you have a camera on you that shows
Yeah.
you doing it later
Yeah.
on, you don't realize what you're saying, and you just gotta lean into
Well,
it.
and that's the
laugh
thing I think that kind of frustrates me, though, is we all want to be perceived a certain way on the show, but in the end, we're all doing what we're doing on camera. So regardless of the situation, you're doing it.
and they're getting you in these very
Yeah,
stressful moments.
but it's because you're in these extreme circumstances where you're sleep deprived, you're hot, everyone smells like a fart. Like, it's just not.
I took a shower.
But I mean,
said
in
a
Vietnam,
shower.
yeah, the whole time. But when you're in Vietnam, as soon as you walk outside, I mean, it's like immediately you're covered in sweat.
I think a lot of the girls look so pretty. I don't know how you guys
yeah,
do
I don't know
it.
how y'all managed to do that.
You looked flawless
Yeah,
every day.
Sarah.
Because I didn't sleep. I spent the whole night getting ready for the next day.
Sarah, speaking of like the different personalities
Sure.
on camera, I don't know.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
Early on, I was like, that girl is an angel.
Oh,
you
thank
just,
you.
you
Editing.
just-
Oh,
really? Is that
Do
what's
not take that away
happening?
from me.
Kidding.
I said that because you
thank
had
you.
a partner who was complaining a lot, is what we see on camera, and
Sure.
you handled it so well with so much
How?
optimism and so much positivity.
Well, thank you. Well, I knew going
She's a
onto
saint.
the race that this was, an adventure, an experience, an opportunity of a lifetime. And I think that I stayed focused on that. And that was my biggest frustration, I think, with my partner was I felt like he hadn't, he didn't have the same view as I did. And of course, you knew going into the race that there was a chance that you could be paired up with someone with a different personality. And sometimes, it can be more challenging than others. So I think I just stayed focused on the fact that, wow, like I am so fortunate to be here. And that's kind of what got me through. But it wasn't easy. And there were definitely times where I broke down, and you saw a little bit of it, but not the full extent. But I knew that with, the different personalities, that fighting back and arguing, it wouldn't have worked out the same way that Brooke and Scott were able to do that. We wouldn't be able to hash it out right then and there. So it was better to just kind of like bite my tongue, stay focused on, what was positive and what was ahead. And that's kind of what got me
And
through
just
it.
taking the experience.
Taking the experience, yeah.
I don't understand how you did it. I really don't. I mean, I was watching.
We're getting frustrated as
because
viewers.
you never flipped out, and I was like, how is she not flipping out? The day when he decided that he was going to take a break from cleaning the windows to go in the ambulance, I was like, you know what, I'm done. I mean, they should have sent him home. I mean, no, that was crazy. I couldn't believe that. I'm thinking there's all these other guys doing it, and I understand everyone has a different pain tolerance.
Yeah.
But the fact that you literally said, no, I've got to go. I've got to go into the ambulance. I'm sorry, that was insane to me. And the fact that you were just like calm. I would have went and like pulled him out and said, if you don't get your ass out here, you know what I
Watching
mean?
it now, I actually have the same kind of reaction that you do because I knew what was going through my head and what coping mechanisms I was using. But watching it, I was kind of, I can say proud of myself in some ways because watching it, I understand why viewers are so frustrated and want to jump through the television. But when I was there, I really was just kind of living in the moment and appreciating kind of my surroundings. I thought we were done at that point. So don't get me wrong, I was frustrated, especially when I'm sitting there kind of lying to Franny and Jesse, who I loved and were serious competitors, and had they continued on the race, I think would have been really great competitors. But I don't know, just staying focused and knowing that it's kind of out of my hands at this point. I was kind of trying to do as much as I could, but I was yelling over to the ambulance, and medics came over to me and were kind of updating me on the situation, or maybe lack thereof. And so I was experiencing all of those emotions. And so once we got to the pit stop, you kind of see it all kind of come to a head. And it was tough. It was tough. I don't know how I don't.
Very admirable. I don't understand
Thank
it,
you.
but that was great.
I really
It
appreciate
really
it.
was.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And I think also, I don't know if this helps, but something that, under our names, it says kind of what our careers were. I have experience, I was a registered nurse on an inpatient psych unit. So some of the personalities that I've dealt with are, he's nothing compared to that. Not to compare him to my patients, but I think everybody comes into this situation with a different background, a different skill set, given their past experiences and sometimes their professions. So I'm not just a luxury real estate agent, I've dealt with mentally ill, and that's really my passion. So going into the race, I definitely think that my experiences with that helped.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but the fact that you said, I've dealt with mentally ill, so dealing with him is okay. I know you didn't mean it like that.
No, I
That's
didn't.
how I
and
took
we've
it.
all
I
hung
would.
out with
But a
Shamir
lot
since
of like
then.
nurses
He
and
is-
teachers bring that patience.
No,
Sure,
yeah, it makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So, Jessica Lynch at home would like to know from all of you, what did you like best during your time on the Amazing Race? You've gotten this question many times. You can tell us something else this time.
Okay.
So, let's go around. What did you all like best?
I think what I like best, if we're casting a really broad net, I think just the experience overall. I mean, I told this when we finished filming and everything, I would have done it all over again if there was no camera or no money involved or anything. Just seeing the vast differences between cultures and stuff was so humbling, and it was very, very educational too. And I mean, it made you just appreciate people in general more, and that's something that you don't really get with just living in the States and doing your day in and day out thing. So it was a very, very educational experience on top of just being this crazy race.
Brooke?
The end of my sentence was Shamir is great. I know I didn't finish it before, but we have hung out with him after.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
not
he's
like
awesome.
that in real life.
No,
But-
and
no, and I know you don't think he is. I just didn't finish a sentence, and I felt like I just
Yeah.
didn't want the people.
He was in
to-
an exceptional
We're all
situation.
friends.
I was a
Exactly.
mess on the whole thing.
Yeah, and off of what you guys said, we're all in a different experience
Yes.
that we've never, and not to say that he would act like that in his normal day, but to answer your question, I'm trying to do so honestly, but
No, you
I
were-
love
I don't-
Shamir, and at the end of the day, we're all friends. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Well, I liked, I actually didn't, for me, it wasn't about being on TV. Like, I wanted to do the show to do the race because I thought it was a cool thing to do. And don't get me wrong, if our team wins the money on Thursday, I am going to be thrilled because it's a great way to end the experience. But if we don't, it's not, it wasn't really about that. I wanted to travel around the world. So the cool part for me is actually getting to see it on television. We were talking earlier that I don't realize that I'm so vocal as I'm going. My way of coping with things is to talk myself basically through everything. I guess I do it at home too. I don't even realize. And so now, you look at yourself and you realize you tell yourself you can't while you're doing. And I've made a real effort to stop doing that. Like this morning we all went to a CrossFit workout. And Sarah said, I only heard you whisper, I can't twice. Like, and I never stopped. So it's really, it's a little bit of self-reflection. It's a little bit of learning about yourself. But it was a cool experience. And the places were incredible that you'd never expect to have traveled to. We went to places where they weren't even on my list. And now that we got to go there, I want to go again. Like, they are.
Really?
yeah, the whole thing was just a blessing.
I think that's an amazing lesson to learn. You learn a lot about yourself when you're traveling, let alone traveling under these circumstances.
And it's video.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And you can watch it all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did watch it all over again. Scott and I watched all
They
11
binged
episodes.
all
since
11.
I've been
Yeah, they
here.
did.
11 with some of my friends who hadn't seen it. Yeah.
Aw.
So what would you say?
It's tough. I mean, I agree with what you guys said, but I think for me, it was just going into a situation completely unplugged from technology. You know, in the world we live in right now. And so to really experience different cultures, different people, we went into this knowing that we were going to interact with 22 strangers. So the curiosity that builds when you don't know anything about these people and you go through casting and you're like, oh, I'm really interested in that person. That person could be my partner. You know, your interest peaks to this height that you don't really experience in your everyday life. So when you engage with these people, you're actually present. And I think that's really special because, you know, you don't have the ability to pull out your phone and kind of distract yourself with Instagram or whatever it may be. So I don't know. I feel like it was kind of, I said this the other day, right? Like a detox of, it was like the best detox ever. So I think just the genuine connections you make given the situation that you're completely unplugged.
Were you able to consume any media like on the plane or anything? Like were you able to
No.
watch movies?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
If
yeah.
there-
Yeah,
If the
yeah.
movies came
Oh, okay.
on, like the back of your monitor or whatever, or they had the ones where you could pick, that was it. But like, and you
Okay.
could watch the news when like you're in your hotel room and stuff.
Okay, so you weren't completely like
Right.
Right, but as far
But
as like
no social media,
communication
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
social media, communication with the outside world, that was off. So like when you're running through airports, I just think it's so cool because you kind of like knock down your ego, you interact with people in ways that you're not worried about being embarrassed. So just the interactions in whatever case scenario it may be, I just thought like, it was a different experience just talking to people because you didn't have this.
That's
It was crazy, and
amazing.
I would pay money for somebody to take this away from me
Yeah.
and say no matter what. Yeah, you sign these papers, you can't have it back. Otherwise, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. You know, so that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. It's funny listening to the three answers. It's definitely a reflection of their personalities. You know, sense of adventure up here, and then being present in the moment is very much Sarah's personality. And I'm like, oh God, here comes mine. Mine's all like strategy.
No.
You know, like, it's I went.
That's like I learned how to deal with people.
Yeah.
And make friends.
Oh right, they're actually human beings. No, when I went through casting, one of the final things I said in one of my final interviews was, I have been, as we've discussed here, a super fan of the big three, Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race. And I said, no matter which one you put me on, I'm like a bull waiting in the corral right before you let me go. And I'm like, whichever one, I'm going to win it. So I've been watching these for 17 years, sitting on my couch saying, this is what I would do in that situation. This is how I would play that immunity idol. This is how I would use the U-turn. Whatever the show is, I was ready to go. And so for me, it was, yes, the travel was amazing. Trust me, travel is amazing. Meeting these people, absolutely off the charts amazing. But I wanted to play the game. And that is what I loved most about the experience. And what's interesting is sitting on your couch is obviously very different than being in it, because here I am saying in my pre-show interviews, I want to make alliances with everybody and then drop them when I don't need them, which was my strategy, and it is how I played the game, so I didn't lie about it. Well, to the viewers at home, people in the game didn't know that, and Brooke knew it, but it's hard because even looking at Logan, like if the moment I wanted to drop Logan, we are so good friends now, as you see, but even in the race, even closer, and it's like, I've got to lie to this man that I truly love, like actual love with capital L, and it is
I can
so
vouch for that.
yeah, it's so hard to do. It's that added layer that you don't think about when you're just a viewer, and I know we've gotten some comments on like using the U-turn at one point and then actually dropping alliance members at some point, but it was a demonstration of I wanted to play the game, I had to stay strong in what I wanted to do, and it was proof that I was able to accomplish that goal.
That's amazing.
What?
I like that. I think we heard the being present from Redmond too. He called in a couple of days ago, and Joey just talking about sort of taking a moment to just be present and enjoy.
It's hard to do
what's
too
going
when you're kind
on.
of being rushed through everything.
Yeah.
You're on a time schedule.
Yeah.
When we were done filming, and so we were in these vans and we were being taken to our respective airports to go everywhere, and everyone got their cell phones back. I sort of think the collective feeling, at least in the van that I was in, was like, oh, like
Yeah.
I have to turn it on
Yeah.
and I have to hear all these messages. Like I would have been happy to not have it back for a significant period of time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you wake up, that next Monday after July 4th, because that was when we were filming, and you have to go back to work, and you're like, okay, I'm up. Like, where's
Back
my
to
clue?
reality.
And you're like, go downtown Manhattan, like, and go to your job. That sucks. So
Where's my clue?
Did you miss seeing Scott?
I haven't stopped seeing Scott.
They had a
We've
little
basically
detox.
spoken every day since this thing has been over. I'd actually send him pictures sometimes in Manhattan. I'd see a helicopter like going around the city, and I'd be like, I'm going the right way, because on the race there were always overhead shots. So sometimes you look up and be like, oh, we have to go that way. So I would send out little pictures and be like, the next clue is over here. Like, we just never stopped. So it's kind of cool. The people you became friends with, I mean, everyone in this room has continued to talk religiously since
That's
it
so
ended.
good.
Yeah.
So I want to address the other elephant in the room, and I know you guys are open about it because I've seen it on your social
That was my
media.
next question.
But Scott,
They hate each
like,
other.
What are you talking about?
I know what you're gonna
What's-
say. I'm
what's
ready.
happening?
You want to talk about their love?
I feel like Scott should like talk about it. He's the one.
He's our muse for
Yeah.
this.
I don't know.
Tell us.
I don't know who wants to start. How did it all start?
Take the wheel.
Okay, so I think Logan and I we were attracted to each other from the get-go, but on the race, we both came into it. Now we know this because obviously we've talked about it, but we were focused on the race. I thought that he was an attractive, obviously, man, but we didn't have that much time to talk. We were on a
Yeah.
flight we were headed to Africa.
Johannesburg.
Yeah, and so that was the first time that we kind of sat next to each other and started talking, and I was like, I remember thinking, okay, I mean, yeah, he's pretty cool too, in addition to the good looks. But it wasn't until after the race, we all, traveled together a lot, and we were going to Joshua Tree National Park and got stuck in, he and I just carpooled there, and we got stuck in traffic for hours. And
Like
it was
6.
then, so it was like a 2.5 hour turn,
Wait,
6
wait, you
hours.
guys-
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she picked me up from the airport,
Right.
and honestly, I probably wouldn't have gone on the trip if she hadn't been going too, but she didn't know that at the
Scott,
time.
are you offended?
Yes.
I mean, you were like the cherry on top.
Yeah, it was. Go on.
But so she picked me up from the airport, and we were, in a car together for 6 hours trying to get out there. So it was a lot of bonding time, and we didn't have any preconceived notions of falling in love with each other or anything like that at the time. So it was very uninhibited when we were talking to each
And I
other.
look at each other.
So sweet. And they're like literally super sweet. Like, and you don't even want to punch them, even though they're like so adorable together. You're just happy. You're happy
Thank
for
you,
it.
Brooke. That means a lot.
It's,
Yeah.
You guys are
Thank you,
adorable.
guys.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I think one of the things that is like really special about us as well is we're so grateful because we realize that our relationship is so unique, and that's kind of what keeps us going and kind of in the state of euphoria every day, because what are the chances that we met on the Amazing Race,
Yeah.
and to have that experience, and then even after that learn more about each other. It's like waking up on Christmas and then a week later you get another present, which is like the best one of all. So
Wow.
I really mean it when I
Right?
say like
So poetic.
I mean,
no, but it's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I was in shock actually because I hadn't known, and I was late, I guess, because I was on one of you guys' Instagrams, and I was like, wait, what? And then I was looking through, and I think I brought up
You're
someone.
like,
I was
wait,
like,
they weren't
I was
the
like, wait,
same team.
are they dating? Like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see anything on the show,
Right.
So that
And
was
we
my biggest
actually
question.
were getting a little flack on the internet too, because I think her and I had posted pictures together before the show had premiered, so people were assuming I was giving away secrets from the show.
Yeah, that we were partners.
Clearly, they were partners on the show, but
Right.
it actually all took place 3 months after
Post
filming.
race,
Yeah.
right?
I did that too. I won't lie. I went and looked at dates. I was like, wait 1 second. So I went back and I was like, wait, when did this
This has
start?
got to be
I
a
did.
breach of contract.
Like you said, journalism,
Right. So we filmed in June. We went to Joshua Tree in October, and then by
Yes.
December, I lived in the Caribbean, in the Virgin Islands, while we were filming. So I brought him back to my home, and he met all my island family. And so by the time our vacation was done there, he's like, okay, you need to come back to Christmas to meet my family.
Yeah.
So I flew from the Virgin Islands. He left a little earlier than I did. So I flew back to meet the family, and
Yep.
it was like I had known them my entire life.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Yeah.
Wow. Where do you two live?
So I live in Georgia currently,
And now I live right in West Hollywood now.
Oh, you live here.
5
Yeah,
blocks
so this
from
is
me.
my home
Yeah.
now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
basically neighbors.
So I go back and forth. I still sell real estate in the Virgin Islands. So I go kind of half and half. But right now I'm in West Hollywood.
Wow.
I love it. And now they have a daughter.
Yes, and now we have Philomena.
Please use that soundbite. Just that. Now they have a daughter.
Did you see my face? I was like, I looked. I was like, wait, what?
I'm like, wait, how many months?
I was like
is
trying
it?
to count. Like,
What's the breed? What's the breed of this dog?
She's a Cavachon.
Don't save her. No, we haven't done it. And now Uncle Scott's
Some of
taking
our
over.
viewers are only listening to the audio right now. So.
Perfect.
There's a 2-year-old child in the room for anyone
Yes.
who's just listening.
2 years.
Two
Oh.
years.
Kidding. I'm
Brooke,
kidding.
I love your voice.
no, I thought it was something else, something playing. I was like,
Yeah.
what is that?
No,
Right?
Great voice.
It's
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll be back after these message notes.
So on this episode, I have to address the video game playing because I thought it was out of this world that it took over 30 tries for the majority of the teams to get it, and I'm just thinking like, this is a video game. Like they were like, how did that make you feel? They're blindfolded and still beating you. Like
And we had
It's just me in the room.
They weren't blindfolded and still
So-
did.
London.
I was gonna say.
Scott,
and-
London, Matt, and Tara.
Right.
Matt and Tara.
Scott, like I'm not talking.
Yeah.
Here
Exclusively
I go
in the
again.
third person.
Scott and
Very,
Matt.
very
Scott and Matt
excited.
did not get to blindfolds, so
Okay.
I actually won on the last round before the blindfold. And then London had the blindfold with both hands, and then Tara had blindfold with one hand.
But London won it on the first round with the blindfold.
Right,
You
so
guys
she
were
was
literally 1 round apart.
1 round apart, me and her.
And she'd never played a video game, and she
That was
just
her
mashed
first
the hell
video
out of
game.
those buttons.
Mash it up.
she was like,
It was.
That was
Yeah.
so cute because she was talking about how she grew up with a
Meanwhile,
sister.
Scott
and
knows
like,
what he's
oh,
She was
doing.
over there,
He's
like,
like,
smacking
I
the
need
joystick
Chun-Li,
and stuff.
Excuse me, where's Chun-Li? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, thank God.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's the one game I happen to know how to play. I'm using
I
air
was so
quotes, happen
bummed.
to play.
I would have been out there in within 10 rounds.
Okay, sit down. No, you wouldn't.
Dude, I nerded
Oh, you're
out
one
for
of
like
those people.
18 years
You're
of my
one of
life.
those haters online who's all, oh, I'm gonna so much better.
Yeah, I guess so. I know what you're getting at, Desola, and that's how difficult was it to play these people. And I did not know until we checked in with Phil that I was playing the world champion of Street Fighter.
Yeah, he was like number.
Oh, really?
They
he
don't
was the
tell you
guy
when you
ranked
go up there. I
number
thought it was
one.
just some random player. And
You would've
no,
been
he's like
stressed.
number 1 in the world. And then I think the other 3 that were there were in the top 10 in the world. So regardless of who you had, it was a challenge. And I want you to know that it's. I mean, I think it's round 3 on the episode where you see I can't even get up as
Yeah.
Chun-Li on the screen. And it's because they literally know all the special movements and they're like beating you into a corner and they're just like, bye, you're dead.
Yeah.
Bye.
You know? And so
The rounds were like 30 seconds. I mean,
yeah,
it was incredible.
I knew all of Chun-Li's movements and I'm like, oh my god, I can't even use them
and
because they
when
know.
you go back and watch them play, it's almost like watching like a a maestro. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like playing like an
Yeah,
instrument
right?
or
They're like-
something. Like they're so fluent with it.
Yeah.
It's
I would love to
amazing.
do a side-by-side of one of them and then London, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
smash.
Yeah. And it was
They're all like this, and she's like,
yeah. It was interesting
Whatever
because
works,
I
right?
don't remember
Yeah,
the clue
absolutely.
saying that we would get a handicap after each
Yeah.
10 rounds. So that's why I was taking my time because I was like, I just need to figure out what his movements are because as a gamer you always I'm led to believe that you have a set like way of going about winning the round, and so I think you actually hear me saying, oh, I know what you're doing now. Like he had the certain jump and then he would do a certain punch or whatever. I figured it out. But London somehow, it's because she beat everyone. She got to round 11 first, and we saw she got a handicap, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then I started losing so I could catch up.
Yeah,
to
really.
her.
I mean, if you
Oh,
just
and
went in
then
there and
handicap.
lost as fast as you could,
Right.
Yeah.
and got
Then
to
you
round
wouldn't.
20, then it's like a.
I actually remember saying it to you because when you went up to the stage, I thought to myself, damn it, every time they have a challenge like something
Yeah.
like this, at some point, like if they were playing ping pong in China a few years ago, eventually the kid had to play with a clipboard or a
Yeah.
frying pan or something. I was like, oh, there's gonna be something.
Yeah.
So I remember saying to Logan, because it was Joey, myself, and Logan sitting in the crowd, they were
Cheering
doing the wave
loudly.
with
Oh
everybody.
yeah, I was
And I remember
very hoarse
saying,
the next day.
they're going to get an advantage, but I could at that point. A non-active player can't talk to their partner,
Right.
so
Right.
I could, other than cheer them on, so I couldn't say, Scott, lose faster. Like it didn't dawn on me in
Yeah.
time, and thankfully London saw it, and then
is
And-
that not one of the most frustrating
It is
things that you can't tell your partner?
Yeah.
Like you know
Yeah.
something.
I mean, the
Absolutely.
worst one of those was probably Becca. 'Cause
I was
that
gonna
poor
say
girl
that with
saw
Floyd.
Floyd drop
Yes.
stuff on the ground,
Yes.
and I couldn't say anything. Logan couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
Becca couldn't say anything. The other guys didn't see it because Scott wasn't even there anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just can't tell him. And you realize he's at step 1 of a mile-long trek on that bicycle in the heat, and he's gonna have to come back because it's on the ground.
Yeah, that was
I
tough
actually
to
didn't
watch.
see it at the time,
And
but
nobody could say anything.
but nobody
then.
could say anything.
Oh.
It seemed like Matt would have beat everyone though because
Yeah.
he finished really quickly,
Right.
and
Oh,
I
We
was.
yeah.
finished in the same round, he and I. Just for
You
the
did?
record.
Wait. What do
Yeah.
you? Oh,
Yeah,
you
he was
did?
round 20 as well.
Oh, he okay. So they just edited it really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's like, yeah. And I have to say, Joey was so angry, and I thought it was so funny. I was like, he's really being serious. He was like, he's like, he's an egocentric bastard that wants to beat up a girl. And I was like, oh my God.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. No, he said that about the guy that was playing against Tara because he wouldn't give her a break. And he was so mad. And it was so funny, but it wasn't, but it really was. Because I was like,
you got to think, too. I mean, these guys are paid to be a challenge. Yeah. You know? So it's not, I mean, no one's going to be given anything. Then it's not a fair race.
And the guy was just laughing. He's like, I'm sorry, blindfolded.
Yeah, I mean, he was even being nice to her. And one of the things that really got Tara in a bad spot was she kept changing her character.
Yeah.
So if you would have just picked one character and died as fast as you could, you started to get those handicaps faster. And that's, the quickest way to do it. But she would go back and change her character. And I mean, you could spend
every
10
time
minutes.
you change your character.
Well, you're sitting there.
You didn't have to start over, but it just took time to change your character.
I mean, you're just wasting your own time at that point to look for a new character to play.
And plus, you're not going to learn the new character's moves.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, Chun-Li is the only person that I knew also. So, I mean, if it would have been Mortal Kombat, maybe I would have learned a little bit more. But Chun-Li was the only one I knew. But I know one or two things. Like, I haven't played video games in a very long time, but you'll start to get the hang of it in 20 rounds. You're like, oh, this button does this. You change your character, the buttons do something different for every new character. So,
I mean, similar to Brooke has gotten a lot of the edit where I can't, and that's been shown on screen. No, but in Joey's defense, I mean, this is the last leg before the finale, and I can only imagine, because we've been in this spot before, Brooke and I. But you're like, knowing that you're about to be in the bottom of the pack, and it's like the culmination of, I just went through 11 rounds out of 12,
right?
And they did
well. I'm about to get out.
Way through.
Like you just say things, and I'm not. We all go about a situation differently, but I'm just trying to say, like, I bet if I was in the audience and Brooke was having a challenge or vice versa, it's like, what
I mean, what he said wasn't bad. It was. I just thought it was interesting.
I think a lot of people don't like
I mean,
what he said.
no, what he said was like whatever. I mean, it was. I thought it was funny, honestly,
Okay,
because
good.
he was really,
I think a lot of people were just surprised to hear
personal.
him say that
No,
because
yeah.
they've been very, just stick to the game plan and do what you got to do. And then this is the first time you've heard them really
and
say
as someone
anything.
who has verbal diarrhea and talks constantly, I get it. If Scott had been there as long as Tara had ultimately been there, I don't know what I would have been saying in the audience. I mean, we didn't know who people. Who knows what's going to come out of this?
You were just relieved it wasn't you.
Yeah. I would have played, but I was relieved that was relieved that situation wasn't us. It was, everybody has different strengths, and I think that Tara hasn't played a video game in a very long time. She's a runner. She, where they're comfortable, they're comfortable. He's like an ultra marathon runner.
Yeah.
So that's where they thrive. And to be put in a situation where you're very uncomfortable, I think everyone in this room has been. Some more than others. I'm not as strong as the other
Scott
people.
with heights?
Scott hates heights. Like, everyone's been put in a very
Thanks.
uncomfortable situation. And thankfully, since you have two teams here who have made it to the end, we've used whatever we had to do within the confines of the rules of the race to get there. And I think some people don't like that. Some people think that the way different people got there wasn't okay. And, it's hard when you're at the back. I get it. It's very frustrating. And I think that this is the first time that they've felt any taste of a little bit of a negative edit, because they've been edited so positively, because they just, it's positive. They have a positive energy through the race. So, I mean, I get it.
They're very competitive. They're there for what they're
Definitely.
competitive and focused.
Right, and something about Joey, I don't know if you see it, probably because they couldn't show some of the stuff that comes out of Joey's mouth, is he has no filter. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. Like, we all love Joey.
I think he missed his calling with stand-up comedy.
Yes,
because,
so you
seriously.
can't hate on some of the stuff. And I'm talking as cast members. Like, this is what I say. Like, you can't hate on some of the stuff he says and, love other things, because love it or hate it,
that's just who he is.
Yeah, and he has no filter. Like, whatever mumbo-jumbo we think in our head, he's just going to say it. And I love it.
We realized it last week when he was in the chats and everything he was saying.
He's so
I was like,
funny.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he says, I'm like, okay, he's joking. Nope, he is not
Yeah.
joking. He's so great.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Well,
gosh.
we're going to take this to predictions, and it's just the two of us, and I don't want to
Okay.
predict,
Is it
so.
only us? Oh, yeah. I was like, you guys can't predict, I guess.
AfterBuzz TV
All right.
predictions.
Ooh, whoa, I like that.
That's funny.
So,
Oh, yeah. I did call you Oprah.
Sorry, I was reading the notes.
She was reading my notes, so let me just tell you guys, since everyone at home is going to want to know. After you did the cups, She walked out and was like, "Good luck, good luck, good luck." And I was like, wow, when did she turn into Oprah?
You get a cup. You get a cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody gets a cup.
It was so funny. I was like, wow, I love
Yeah.
I love it. The how vocal you are is the best. Okay, so my predictions now. I mean, it really matters. It really matters now
Yes,
what
the
I'm
last
saying.
one.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna stick to what I've been saying. You see this right here? I actually, you know what? I did say that I think you guys are gonna win. So I'm going to stick with that. I feel like it's gonna be between you two and actually I don't know. It's hard because there's you two and then there's mom and dad. I don't know.
You should give the 1, 2, 3 since it's the last.
Well, okay.
We're not offended. I know we're sitting right
Yeah,
now.
don't
You know
worry.
what's so hard about
We're
this
not
moment
offended.
right now?
Don't worry. You know, I'm not worried. I'm gonna
Everyone
be
in this
offended or
room,
not.
aside from the two of us, know exactly how it ends up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. All right,
It's like, I know something you don't know.
All right, so just
Mina
Like that
doesn't
with my
know.
little brother for a year. You want to know? You want to know? No.
No,
I can't
honestly,
believe you guys can't even tell your families. This is a huge secret because no matter when you were eliminated, everybody's there at the end. So
Right.
the
Correct.
contestants
Right.
all know who won.
I keep
Yep.
texting Scott's mom, being like, "Karen, do you want to know? Give me a call later." And Scott's like, "If you tell her, I will kill you."
and the
Scott's
fact
parents are
that
awesome. We had them in here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
They
they're
sat here
so
on the
nice.
couch. Yeah.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
awesome.
they're so
They were
nice.
saying the nicest
Thank you
things
all.
about Scott.
Okay, I'm gonna say. Oh, this is hard. Okay, I really think that you two won. So I'm just gonna say I think
Thanks, buddy.
that. What'd you say?
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. I'm gonna go with you two because all of your conniving and everything. I hope that
Conniving.
all of your
Great
your
choice of
scheming,
words.
you know, scheming and conniving with the teammates. You know, the ones that you friends with one week and you drop the next week, whatever. I think it worked. I hope it worked. I mean, after all of that, you know, because you really have to think about it. You know.
Right.
So hopefully that worked out. So I'll say, okay, I'll say Brooke and Scott. I'll say, I don't know. The last one I don't know because I feel like you two played it really well.
Yeah. But we also have
And
had the
I-
invisible edit, so it's
Invisible
tough to
edits
tell.
have one.
Okay, honestly, I'm just gonna say that I feel like you two are gonna win. I mean, the other two, it really doesn't matter who
Nope.
doesn't win after the fact. So I'm gonna go with you two.
I don't feel like you're a quiet person. Were you edited that way?
No, he is not a quiet person.
No,
In
she
fact,
can vouch. She can vouch.
just his volume alone,
Yeah.
he's a big guy.
People
so his
always
vocal
ask me, why
cords-
are you yelling?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Brooke and I
People
yelling
ask me
at each
that too,
other
yeah.
is a little bit more entertaining. I'm using air
Yeah.
quotes than
That's what it
Logan and
is.
London getting along. So I think that's
Yeah.
why there was that difference.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
totally what it
I
is.
would've
They
been
were
happy for
they
an
were
invisible
so
edit.
entertaining, but it's just kind of like it's overshadowed
Yeah, I
by
mean,
these
London
two.
is like
Yeah.
one of the most entertaining people, and she's so funny. That's why it was kind of like surprising to see a lot of the stuff not make it into the show that she did. And I mean, I kind of looked like a jackass in Vietnam when I was trying to row the boat, and they didn't show much of that at all, too. So I was pretty happy about that.
Made it through.
Yeah.
Nataly Tavidian.
Oh my god, I can't. At this point, I'm like,
Okay.
That's my
I'm
line,
stressed
Natalie.
out.
Thank you. I
I
can't. It's my line.
She needs to do like an after-hours sex
Yeah.
radio show
Yeah, she
with her
does.
voice.
I know.
her
It's like
voice is
Dr. Ruth.
beautiful.
Please enter another 25 cents. If you want to
Oh
my
gosh.
25 cents. I should be more
I
expensive.
was
than
gonna
that.
say, come on, girl.
Yeah, have some respect.
First time.
No, Natalie would put the pressure on because if Dan were here, he would do that. He'd be like, "All right, you gotta pick one."
That was great.
I
Exactly.
was just on the phone with Dan earlier. He's still in Australia.
We missed you, Dan,
He sends
just so you
love
know.
to all of you guys. This is a lot of pressure. I don't know. I love all of you guys. And
We'll just close our eyes so that
It's like picking your
we're not,
favorite
like, looking
kid.
at you.
No, really, this is a tough episode for me because I like the boys too. I actually thought they'd make it pretty far,
Yeah.
but we
Oh,
have
yeah.
3 teams.
A lot of
We
bummed
all
people
did.
that they went
Yeah.
home.
Big fan.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say Team Lolo because
Thank
you
you.
guys have been really quiet, and I think that's like
Hopefully, if we were away, I mean, it's been,
Yeah.
11 episodes of. Are they even on the race anymore?
Yeah.
We'll get lucky.
We'll get a third of the screen
Yeah.
time, maybe.
So you heard it here. You say,
and I'm gonna say Team Lolo.
say it louder. We want to hear it. She's like whispering.
Yeah.
She's
We
like,
will
Team
win.
Lolo.
We will win. We will win.
All right,
That's
so,
right.
My favorite.
so it's kind of like we're betting now. You're saying Team Lolo. I am saying Team Brooke and Scott. Did you guys have a team name?
No, that
Team
was
Brooke
it.
Okay, Team
Scott.
Brooke and Scott.
Team Will and
all right.
Grace.
We started with Team Will and Grace, but it didn't.
It didn't catch
They-
on.
That's
No.
not. And then,
Okay.
we're like,
That's
oh,
an
Team Will and
NBC
Grace, and then
show.
all of a sudden at the bottom of the screen it said Team Brooke and Scott, and we're like,
I told Scott on his first visit as a guest co-host here. I love the intro where he carries you. the opening credits?
Oh, thanks.
That is so
Because
cute.
we're both rabid super fans, and so everyone was doing their opening. The opening credits are shot at the end.
Oh,
So
okay.
when it's all
Fun
over,
fact.
everyone's doing their because you
Fun
didn't have
fact.
because
That's
you
why
didn't
my
have a
beard
partner
is
at
like
the
twice as
beginning.
big.
They couldn't have shot them at the beginning because nobody had a partner yet.
That's
right.
And as soon as you got your partner, it was the world
That's
is waiting.
right.
You know,
Yeah,
now that I
there's no
think of it,
chemistry
you guys
with the
could have been
partners at
team
that
Ginger and
time.
Spice.
Ginger and Spice.
That would've been really
And
good.
we did
Everything
get
nice.
renamed Team Drama by people in the race,
Oh,
but
yeah.
only
Yeah, I've
halfway
seen
through.
that.
So
And
they
then
couldn't
some
do
people
Yeah.
that.
You had
online
to
have
earn
very
that
choice
title.
different names for us, which
Yeah.
is fine too. But so
Haters
those are
gonna
done
hate.
at the end, and everyone's talking about what they want to do and whatnot. And Scott and I are like, let's do the jump into your arms. It's like, oh, the Jeff and Jackie from season 26.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
like, yes.
That's
So we
awesome.
go over to our to do our video, and they're like, so we're like, no, we're gonna do the Jeff and Jackie. They're like, okay, you guys know. We're like, all right.
If
So
you-
they let us do it, which was great.
When the fans are just real quick, when the fans are watching the opening credits, I've been waiting till right now because now you know who the final three are. I think if you watch the opening credits knowing the final three, the three of us or the six of us look super tired because it was filmed immediately after, less than 12 hours after the finish line.
And that was a long day.
Yeah, like
Holy
I
hamburgers,
I
you ain't
think
lying.
I look like a Cro-Magnon man. Logan's beard is like
I look like a
really
caveman,
thick.
for sure.
You know, no offense,
was
but
tired since, like,
Brooke
2. It's
and
fine. I look
London
tired
look
the whole time.
tired. You know, Tara and Joey, I think, just like walk up to the camera, and it's like even the boys look well rested, even though they had like a day off, right?
Yeah.
So, so watch the
fun
credits in the final
fact.
episode. I think the three teams look really tired.
I'm gonna look
It's a
at
little
you know
Easter
why.
egg.
Little Easter egg, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm actually nervous now thinking about it. I really don't know.
I really don't
you
know.
you guys aren't nervous because you already know who won, but I'm kind
Yeah.
of nervous just because I feel like we've really invested our lives into this season.
Good.
You know,
it got
Well, we
renewed.
appreciate
Good.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I am
So-
nervous all the time because we don't get to see them before they air.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
every
Oh,
week I would
so
be like, oh my God,
what
what
if
are
they
they
get
going
me
to do
doing
to me
now?
now? Like, I was nervous every
Aw.
week. So, like, at least this one, it's the last one. So it's one more week of being a little bit nervous. And
Aw.
after that, the whole cast is going to go out and drink and have a party. And that's what I'm looking
Yep.
forward to.
Well, we love all of you. We love all the contestants that were on this season,
Yes.
and we love
Thank
seeing all
you.
the different personalities. And I think we've made it very clear on this after show that when people are arguing and fighting, it's because it's in the moment. So
Yeah.
things
Oh
happen.
yeah, thank you
They're
for
all
mentioning that.
friends.
So yeah, don't take anything we say personal. You mentioned that. You know, don't take it. Anything I say, don't
Yeah.
take it personal because I know I can say certain things. Hey, we're all friends. We love
Yeah.
you all.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much for being here.
Of course.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Yeah.
having
we
us.
loved
This
it.
is
we
so
loved
fun.
all the
This was super
insight.
fun.
Next Thursday, 10
This
o'clock.
Thursday.
3 days from
Just
now.
3 days
Yeah.
from now
Yeah.
this week, and then we'll be back here on Monday
Yes.
talking about the winner.
Ooh.
So can't wait. I'm super excited for that.
If any of you are the winner, can you call in? Do you mind?
Well, we can't respond.
Mom and Dad, are you
Oh,
listening?
Anybody here?
Yeah.
I forgot that they were here.
That was
Anyways,
good.
I actually
Thank
didn't
you,
even think about
everybody.
it.
We'll do our best to get the winners. So
Yes.
at least call in. I'm Nataly Tavidian. You can find me everywhere at Nataly Tavidian, and my guests. Where can
Logan
everyone
Bauer
find you?
at Logan R. Bauer on Twitter.
I'm Brooke Camhi, and you can find me at the real B Camhi.
Everyone, you can find me at Desola_B on Instagram. I'm Desola Balogun.
You can find me at Sara Fowler on Twitter.
Awesome, and thanks for having me again, Scott Flanary, everywhere on social media.
Like Canary.
Like
Thank you.
Canary.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.